Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And boy, this is getting really interesting with the situation with Kathleen Kennedy.
It's getting very interesting. And you know, if we're looking at it from the point of view we're looking at, most people aren't even going to see it from that way.
Yeah, so from a certain point of view.
Right, yes.
It's all true from a certain point of view. We're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy, possibly more evidence that she's trying to save her job. She's not going anywhere. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about John Boyega having a heart-to-heart with Kathleen Kennedy. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, we're over 150,000 subs. It is appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, you found this.
Right. And immediately I thought about the article that WDW Pro did on the Pirates and Princesses blog that I run. A lot of people went to Pro because he was one of the ones that was calling out when the first thing went down originally with the Headland incident. And those who aren't familiar, what happened with Leslye Headland was apparently the Bobs did not know that Kathleen Kennedy was setting this up with Headland. Because Headland was a possible liability because there were some lawsuits going on, with Weinstein and stuff, and she was his assistant, and it would not look good to the shareholders, and it looks a little, it's not good to have the conflict of interest there,
It's sus.
There's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And they were mad about it. But what happened allegedly was that she apparently went out into like Variety and Deadline and a couple of those places and made sure it was announced there so that it couldn't be pulled back later, because then if they did, they could scream and say, it's because you don't like women. Because, this whole narrative of you don't like women and you're an Islamophobe all originated with the new Star Wars movies, as far as Disney's concerned, and Kathleen Kennedy. So Pro was the one who was bringing up the points about that and hearing that the Bobs hit the roof. Here's why. Okay, that's the same WDW Pro. Well, now he writes on Pirates and Princesses for us. And he did a story. I'll let you talk about the story because you actually covered it before on the channel.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, I talked about this article that Pro is saying he doesn't think that Kathleen Kennedy is going to go anywhere, and that one of the aces in the hole is Leslye Headland. That she already made a big announcement that she was getting this series, and the thing is she was Harvey Weinstein's assistant. Now there's a lot of chatter about how much Disney executives knew about Harvey Weinstein, and the running theory, and we don't know, this is all scuttlebutt, is that Kathleen Kennedy might use the favor she gave to Leslye Headland in case she needs some ammo to be like a shield.
She needs a shield.
You don't want to fire me, Bobs, because I know.
I'll scream because you didn't want me to hire her, and she's not straight. So we can't. I'm going to yell about you're against women. I'm going to yell about you're against women that are LGBTQ, and I'm going to yell about all these things. That's the alleged, possibly maybe rumor. So we had that going into this, and then today the story shop about John Boyega. Now John Boyega supposedly had this call with Disney. It's old news, but now he's out promoting another movie, and apparently he was talking to the BBC about this upcoming movie he has, and it was brought up in this interview or whatever. And he said to the BBC he said, I got a call with Kathleen Kennedy, and she verbally showed support, and we got to have a really nice, transparent, honest conversation that's beneficial to both of us. This is about race. He continued, I think these kinds of conversations, you can go into the realm of sounding like you're just trying to save your own career. But what is great now is that it is a conversation that anyone has access to. People can express themselves about this knowing that any character we love, especially in these big franchises like the Marvels and Star Wars, we love them because of the moments that they are given. We love them because of those moments and their heroic moments that these producers all decide for these characters. So we need to see that in our characters that may be black and from other cultures. So basically, I think what he's saying is, people want to remember this and they remember the heroic moments. So we need to see more heroic moments for characters like Finn, which is what most people wanted. They wanted Finn to be a Jedi. They wanted Finn to kick ass. They wanted Finn to be a lead character. And who decided that, who ultimately is in charge of deciding what goes where? Kathleen Kennedy. So she might have a conversation with him and act like, yes, you're right. I'm listening. You're right. But at the end of the day, Kathleen Kennedy was ultimately in charge. She's the one that decided it was going to be focused on Rey. She's the one that was going to, deciding to wear the Force's female shirt. She's the one decided to sideline, bring Rian Johnson and sideline Poe and Finn. She's ultimately responsible for all of it. Clearly, there was no, overreaching plan, which she also was responsible for. So she can sit there and be like, yes, you're right. I hear you. You hear this a lot from people. I hear you. They don't give a shit and they don't hear you right now. But now they're going to leverage this. Now it's going to Deadline. Now we're going to probably see these stories on Variety because it's all going to be about Kathleen Kennedy and how she understands and she listens because Kathleen Kennedy is trying to save her own ass.
Yeah, that absolutely could be what's happening here because her job might be on the line, but she's going to use every trick she can to keep it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, she's the one who made the call about where Finn's arc went, and it went nowhere. Like they build him up in the first movie. I mean, hell, he was fighting Kylo Ren with a lightsaber.
So you're like, oh, he's Force sensitive, yes.
And then immediately when you see him in The Last Jedi, he's a coward. Again,
he's
trying to run away.
Deserter, yes. And then they had, Poe was like, going in there kicking all kinds of ass. He was like a Han Solo type. And then they had him immediately trying to be like, now I'm going to be the boss. And he has to be put in his place by Holdo and Leia and stuff. And there's no reason to do this other than to insert these new characters like Rose and Holdo. And because don't you know that according to Disney, that the only way you can have strong female characters is if you make sure that they're bullying the men because they can't see, having them on equal footing just isn't going to work, even though it worked in the original trilogy. Go figure. It was run by Mon Mothma. Leia was equal footing. She's like, into the chute, fly boy. I'm saving your ass,
Yeah, I don't know where things went off the rails here because it seems like in many ways we were more progressive 30 or 40 years ago than we are now.
And someone said, for these people that are out there, these activists have been out there going on for years about this stuff, and they're claiming it's getting worse. They said either you're not telling the truth or you're not very good at activism. You can't have it both ways. But this feels like, why now? He brought up these comments recently, of course. But why are Deadline asking about it? Or why are they asking about the BBC about this now? And then even if it was in an interview about something else, they're pulling that out specifically on a place that was one of the ones that was helping Kennedy with the Headland thing, and they're putting it on Headland. Oh, well, Kennedy was working with Boyega and had a transparent, honest conversation about racism after the fact.
Yeah, and it looks really hypocritical because in June, Kennedy was called him a hero, called John Boyega a hero for powerful speech about BLM as she sidelined his character in the trilogy. So yeah, it does. It's like, does it really matter what you think, Kathleen Kennedy? I don't think it really matters. And he went on a rant, after that, saying a lot of things that a lot of Star Wars fans liked. But yeah, I mean, as far as Deadline goes, look, Kennedy has been in the industry for decades. Mm-hmm. She's going to make a lot of contacts.
I'm sure she's calling in favor.
She is, even before Star Wars, she was a powerful woman in Hollywood. And she knows how to play the game. She knows that Deadline and Variety are the industry rags that everybody goes to, uses for industry news. Mm-hmm. And all she's got to do is pick up the phone, call one of her editor friends and say, hey, I need you to run. This is Kathleen Kennedy. That Kathleen Kennedy that worked with Steven Spielberg all those years. Yeah, we got this new Star Wars show with this girl. You're gonna run this. And
it was Variety first, I believe, but Deadline was one of the ones that jumped in there too. That had this, the story. And probably Variety's probably covering the John Boyega thing. I never went and looked, but they're those places that she goes to with these leaks.
Yeah, and look, I mean, here's the thing. She is more entrenched in Hollywood than even Bob Iger or Bob Chapek. Mm-hmm. Like, they're more bean counters. They're...
Oh, it's bad enough that she thought she could do something like this and they're over her and she got away with it and they haven't gotten rid of her.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that tell you?
Yeah. But, again, Pro is hearing. Again, these are the scuttlebutt, but this is all part of a
it all
plan.
lines up.
It does line up. This is a plan to keep herself in power. She does not want to quit Star Wars. She's already lining up.
Star Wars wants you to quit it.
Yeah, Star Wars wants you to quit. It's definitely a one-sided abusive relationship at this point.
Going to a place where they're going to make a story in an alternate universe with alternate canon just to get this woman in here and have a Star Wars show.
if she was planning on leaving, people were like, oh, she's going to step down 2021. She'd be winding things down. She would not be announcing new shows that she's going to shepherd in the next couple of years or plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a game. She already knows. They probably wanted her gone in 2021. And she's probably like, hell no. I'm Kathleen fucking Kennedy. I'm going to stay until I feel like leaving.
Well, yeah, and they said that there was some stuff going on behind the scenes where they were trying to wind her down, and she was only allowed to be in charge like one or two things. And then this popped up all of a sudden. Oh, look, here's another thing I'm in charge of. And, you know, I'm just saying, then the deadline thing today, it all kinds of falls into that whole, you know, most people look at this and be like, oh, they're still talking about John Boyega and the racist thing. I'm looking at it knowing that the rumor is that Kathleen Kennedy's trying to stay at Lucasfilm, and she's trying to leverage, you know, her being a woman and her hiring Headland and all this other stuff, you know, screaming Istinphobe and all the stuff we always hear. Even though she's the one that created a lot of the drama around people being labeled Istinphobes, she's going to do it again to stay entrenched. And then this story comes out. And it's a little bit like, really? That's a little bit odd.
You know what would be very, very interesting is if all of a sudden it's announced that John Boyega gets a Finn spinoff show.
Well, I'd watch the hell out of that.
In Deadline.
Something. I mean, I would watch the hell out of a Finn show. I really would. I think that'd be awesome. But I'm mad. We shouldn't have to watch a sideshow. He should have been a main character in the original 3 movies. But the thing is,
China.
Yeah, China. China.
The thing is China. And also, you know, Kathleen Kennedy, for all her going on, but I hear you, you're right. We had an honest conversation, you're right. And he even said, some people say things like this to save their job. I thought that was funny he said that. But she's saying this now, but ultimately, she was the one who made the decision. Yeah, she signed off on it.
She was the one in charge. She's the one that didn't have an overreaching story across 3 movies, which was absolute stupid and dumb. She's the one who, you know, put Rey in as the Force's female and pushed Rey to the front, even though she could have had Rey and Finn. I mean, holy crap, you would have hit 2 with 1. And she did that. She ultimately hired Rian Johnson, and knowing his treatment, it was going to be a problem. She's the one who was in charge of all this shit. I don't think they started taking power away from her until after The Last Jedi caused such a big problem. So ultimately, the one who was being like this and deciding this was her. So she's like, oh, I hear you. You're so right now, and trying to get out there that she understands. She's on your side. She wasn't on your damn side when she made these decisions.
Yeah.
But now she's trying to spin this narrative.
Yeah, she's not going. I'm telling you guys, she's not. I would be shocked at this point. I would be shocked if she gets gone, because it sounds like she's trying to save face and start new projects. This is not.
You help me, John, and we'll get you your own Finn show.
Yeah, and look, we got. I mean, look, if you're talking S.H.I.E.L.D., we got a gay woman and a black guy.
Right.
You know,
and Leslye Headland's show isn't even in the same universe. It's an alternate timeline, people. They're doing an alternate effing timeline show so she can put all her ideas that wouldn't actually be canon, and you know people are gonna have a fit about it, into a whole show just to make sure this chick got a show. What she have on Kathleen Kennedy that made sure she got a show? I have to wonder.
Harvey Weinstein.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's got to be a reason it was Headland of all people.
Yeah. So we'll be watching her career with great interest. Mm-hmm. We will see what happens with Kathleen Kennedy. Again, speculating. I don't think she's going anywhere. I know a lot of people think she's going to be out the damn door. I think there are people at Disney who want her out the damn door, but I don't think she's going anywhere. Yeah.
When I saw these headlines, I immediately thought about the rumor that I've been hearing, and it's not just from here. Other people were saying it too, and then this showed up. All this shows up from an interview that was like 2 months ago, and it just gets brought up again now.
Yep, because it's time to decide. It's after the fiscal year. It's time to decide whether or not Kathy's staying or Kathy's going.
Well, if they're smart, Kathy should go. But anyway, let's wrap this up.
If they're smart. All right.
They obviously aren't smart.
So we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.